The scene is Shaw Field, the Elite Eight of the NCAA tournament. Dan Helfrich alongside Tom Greaser and Tommy. The atmosphere, despite an overcast day, tremendous here on the hilltop as these two powers come together for a berth in the College Cup.
First time the game is sold out midweek for a Georgetown soccer game. Standing room only crowd for students to line the field. Going to be a brilliant day with two fantastic teams.
And Tom, the road to get here in the College Cup has featured exciting games for both of these teams. Georgetown, 2 overtime wins. You see them on the screen right now, taking out Old Dominion in overtime, taking out Syracuse in overtime. Meanwhile, Virginia, a fairly comfortable win at home against UNC Wilmington, and then the win at number 1, Notre Dame.
Going on the road to beat the defending national champions Notre Dame. What a victory for this UVA team, but we shouldn't be surprised. It's only their 34th consecutive appearance in the NCAA tournament. To put that in perspective, this is Georgetown's 6th.
Tom, the winner today faces the University of Maryland at Baltimore County, not the University of Maryland at College Park, going on the road and beating Creighton in penalty kicks last night. Anything can happen in this NCAA tournament. It'll be fun to see what happens today, but let's look back at Georgetown's run through this NCAA tournament. First, Tom, the big goal late against Old Dominion, down 1-0, and it's the senior Tyler Rudy starting things off.
Yeah, Rudy winning the ball in the midfield and playing a very good ball into Brandon Allen, and going against the scouting report, Allen cuts to his right and buries one for the Hoyas.
And you see the Hoya fans in delirium there. Well, that was nothing compared to what happened with less than 10 seconds on the overtime scoreboard. Penalty kicks looming, and there he is, the freshman, Arun Basulovic.
What a story it's been for Basulovic, coming on late, adding a scoring punch for this Hoya team. Very opportunistic goal, and the Hoyas advance.
And if the Hoya fans didn't get enough against Old Dominion, they certainly got it against Syracuse. Tom, Keegan Rosenberry breaking the corner kick drought.
Georgetown has struggled all year with corner kicks, but they were dangerous all game against Syracuse, and the junior Keegan Rosenberry made no mistake about that one.
Speaking of no mistake, the senior Jared Rist at the near post, chaos in front of Alex Bono, and then chaos in the celebration.
And what a fantastic run the senior Rist made, and if Georgetown finds a way to win today, it's Rist who goes home for the Final Four.
So let's now, Tom, set the stage for today's context. It's the Virginia Cavaliers coming, and Tom, 3 keys we've identified. First, defend the width.
When Georgetown's at its best, their outside backs are joining the attack. It puts a lot of pressure, not only on the outside backs of Virginia, but the outside midfielders to track runners.
Tom, we watched a little bit of that Virginia-Notre Dame game in South Bend. Let's just say it was not end-to-end exciting action. UVA really didn't threaten until Corvo's goal near the end of the game. Can Virginia get behind the Hoyas' vaunted defense?
Yeah, and the Hoyas have such experience back there with the senior Gomez, and then Yarrow, obviously the semifinalist for the Herman Trophy. It'll be interesting to see if the Cavaliers have the success that Syracuse had last week in finding spots behind the Georgetown defense.
And then the question, Tom, you always pose, particularly late in big games, who will be the hero? Last week it was Corvo. Might it be Darius Madison this week? The decorated junior striker who's only found the back of the net 3 times.
And Madison was on the College Cup All-Tournament team last year when the Cavaliers made the College Cup. Hasn't been as productive this year, but you're going to need someone to step up in a game like this, especially on the road.
Let's now look at the players to watch for Virginia. Tom, we've been watching all warm-ups at Eric Bird. It looks unlikely that Virginia's best player will play today.
Best player, senior, first-team all-conference, got hurt early in the first-round game for the Cavaliers. The Cavaliers are hopeful that he can advance, that if they advance, he can play in the College Cup.
So Bird unlikely to go. It means teammates around him will need to step up. One of those, Todd Wharton.
Yeah, Todd Wharton's going to be key today in that defensive holding midfield role for Virginia. He can sniff out a lot of the Hoya attacks and then start the counter for Virginia. He's also very good on set pieces.
When Wharton takes those set pieces, Tom, one of the players he's looking for is the aforementioned Darius Madison. Madison, the striker, had a lot of looks at a lot of high levels in this country soccer-wise, put the Cavaliers on his back last year as they went to the College Cup. Might today be the breakout day for the superstar?
Yeah, and we talked about it. The all-tournament team in the College Cup last year, but only 3 goals for the striker this year. Today, Cavalier fans are hopeful that Darius Madison can find the back of the net.
Meanwhile, on the other side of the ball, Tom, the Hoyas come in after all these exciting games, and you watched the highlights just now, those at home. Quality service is key.
Yeah, the last 3 goals that Georgetown has scored have come off of restarts, and we've talked about it all year. Sometimes Georgetown gets in spots in the run of play where they're not as sharp as they need to be. So the difference in games is getting good service on those restarts.
Service can come from restarts. Service can also come from the flank. And Tom, when the flank attack comes, it's often from the outside backs. Turnley on the left and Rosenberry on the right.
So key for the way that Georgetown plays to have those outside backs come forward and join the attack. Both of them are fantastic with the ball, dynamic going forward. What a weapon it is to have your outside backs be so talented on the offensive third.
Tom, one of the things coaches like to talk about all the time is, will the bench produce? The answer was an unequivocal yes, as Jared Riss found the game winner. Might there be more action and more productivity from the bench?
Yeah, Weiss has said all year that this is one of the deepest teams he's ever coached. Practices are very competitive, and this is an opportunity that if your number is called, no bigger stage than today, a home Elite 8 game with the chance to go to the College Cup.
3 players to watch quickly for the Hoyas, Tom. The college soccer world is paying attention to a lot of players, but no one more than the Ghanaian product, sophomore center back Josh Yarrow, everything for the Hoyas.
The Big East Defensive Player of the Year, a semifinalist for the Herman Trophy this year, and he had the best game of his career last week against Syracuse. Syracuse put Georgetown under pressure, and time after time, Yarrow thwarted the attacks.
Yarrow gets the most attention on the defensive side of the ball. It's junior Brandon Allen, 38 career goals, who gets the most attention on the attacking side.
Unanimous first-team All-Big East selection, the junior, the Red Bull Academy product. He is just a brilliant goal scorer. Sometimes late in the year, he hasn't gotten as much service, but if Georgetown is able to find number 10 early, look out, Cavaliers.
And then protecting the cage, it's the senior Tomas Gomez, the Webster Groves, Missouri product. Second team All-Big East this year, the program's all-time leader in shutouts, the 6th best goals against average in the country, the anchor to that Hoya back line.
And incredibly experienced. He was the starting goalkeeper on the Georgetown team that made it all the way to the championship game in 2012, losing to Indiana. But again, he was the hero in that semifinal contest in that penalty kick shootout against that other University of Maryland team.
So, Tom, 2 big storylines coming into this game, the weather and the crowd. The weather, let's call it overcast, rain spurting, but doesn't appear to play a big factor in the game, other than we could see some things on the field conditions that look slick, and then the crowd, every bit what we expected, students ringing the field. And let's take a look at what Coach Brian Weiss had to say as he took Shaw Field this afternoon.
Thank you, guys. Coach, it was good news for you when Notre Dame was upset because it meant one more home game for you. What's the key to taking advantage today?
Well, at this time of the season, when you're in Elite 8 quarterfinal game, I think these are the most exciting games in college soccer because the teams are all really good, but you have an atmosphere, you have a home crowd, and they tend to have a little bit more energy and pop to them than any of the other games that you see in the country, even in the College Cup. So I think our ability to take advantage of a home crowd while still maintaining a bit of composure and not getting too embroiled in the environment and the setting, I think is going to be important.
So how do you try to manage the emotions of the players in this huge game?
Well, they've all been through it in a lot of ways too. We've prepared them well for this kind of setting by playing in a lot of good games, a lot of good settings. I mean, we played at Creighton, we played at Indiana, at Maryland, in venues that are going to sort of simulate this as much as you can, and you know, it's just getting them to settle down, and a lot of that comes from us as coaches trying not to get too riled up and being calm and giving them a good picture for that. But I think the boys have a lot of confidence in what they're doing, and it's just a matter of executing and playing our game.
Good luck today.
All right, thank you.
And we will move into the national anthem here at Shaw Field, moments away from the start of action. And the last bars of Francis Scott Key's Star Spangled Banner play. The crowd extremely excited for action. And Tom Greaser, two evenly matched teams, two teams that have dreams of heading to Cary, North Carolina next Friday evening to take on UMBC. But today it's about what happens on the field, and Virginia, as we said, without Bird today, making a couple adjustments, including entering Rosansky, the freshman, into the starting lineup.
Yeah, the freshman, a local product from Germantown, Maryland, all ACC freshman team that played in the midfield most of the year, but getting the start up top for the Cavaliers.
Corvo, the goal scorer, and then Ryan Zinkin, another player to watch. Meanwhile, for the Hoyas, it's the familiar starting lineup that we've seen throughout the NCAA tournament, and that includes the exciting Alex Wheel, a sophomore, also a Red Bull Academy product, and a very dynamic player that'll look for those seams in the UVA defense.
Tim Wheel listed up top, but he floats throughout the game. He'll be on the wing, he'll go left to right, but when he runs at you with the ball, there's no more dangerous player than Alex Wheel for the Hoyas.
Yarrow will be paired in the center of the back with Cole Seiler, who you see on the screen there, number 14. Tomas Gomez wearing number 1 in the yellow goalkeeper jersey. Tom, it's been a one-sided series history. Virginia leading at 8-2-1. The last time we were there 2 seasons ago in an overtime game, Georgetown winning on an own goal up at the Soccerplex in Maryland.
Yeah, an own goal, and it was also a Steve Newman goal 2 minutes into the season that got the Hoyas rolling in that magical season in 2012. There's not many teams that Virginia doesn't hold an advantage in all-time series records.
And the crowd, most of them standing here at Shaw Field, even those in the seats are standing, and of course, as you can see on your screen, students strewn around the Georgetown soccer banners throughout the field. Quite an atmosphere worthy of this occasion. And Tom, there we take a look at Sheldon Sullivan. The Iron Man's gone the distance in every match this year, and he certainly will be paired against Brandon Allen for much of this contest.
Yeah, and Sheldon Sullivan plays on the back with his brother, Kyler Sullivan, 2 other local products from Stafford, Virginia. This UVA team has a huge local flair.
And Tom, the talking is done. Now let's just let the players play. And UVA with the ball in the back. And there's our first look at Thompson, who will run a lot of the UVA attack from that left back position.
Thompson, one of the most talented players on this Cavalier team. And for most of the season, UVA's played with 3 in the back, but starting in the ACC tournament, they've gone to 4 in the back. Big question for me, Dan, is last week, Syracuse, with their 2 strikers up top, put Georgetown under a lot of pressure. UVA's lining up with 2 strikers as well. Be interesting to see where that first line of defense lines up for the Cavaliers. Are they going to sit back and allow Georgetown to play it in the back, or are they going to put the Hoyas defense under pressure?
And are they going to take 40 seconds on every throw? And
trying to kill the game already.
Here's our first look at Yarrow. He'll try to put Allen Allen behind the back, forcing a little bit of a challenge to the UVA line. Allen wins a challenge, and now Turnley attacks up the left with space. Turnley will go one-on-one. Gets to the end line, cuts inside, and then there we see the field, Tom, a little slippery.
And we walked the field earlier today, Dan, and it is a slick surface. You just hope that no one loses their footing in a key moment. Think about what happened to Steven Gerrard last year for Liverpool.
We talked in the opening about Georgetown, the flank attack from the back positions. There you see what they try to do, isolate someone like Turnley on the left, and then, of course, Rosenberry on the right.
And both of those players decorated goal scorers in their youth, playing outside back at the collegiate level.
So here's Josh Yarrow. We expect to see the Hoyas with possession as they are a patient side. Here's Austin Martz, the senior from Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania.
And UVA is not putting the Hoyas under a lot of pressure up top, but they're trying to compact the field. Their back line really close to their midfield.
Here's Turnley finding Wheel in a seam. Full layoff to Goodman. The sophomore from Sarasota, Florida, now to Tyler Rudy. Rudy will switch the play nicely to Keegan Rosenberry. Classic Hoya soccer there. Now Martz a touch. Austin trying to get across, and it's a good one headed by Wheel over. And a flashing header by the sophomore Alex Wheel. Just over Callie Brown, but attractive soccer from Georgetown.
And a great sign for the Hoyas that they had numerous runners in the box. A lot of time this year, it's just Brandon Allen in there by himself. There, Wheel getting very deep. And the Cavaliers fortunate that Wheel's header went over.
And Tom, the switch of the play, which is so key, gave up that chance. And you just see Wheel not quite able to get on top of the ball. Our first look at Corvo. He'll slide it back, and now a long ball. Seiler wins it easily.
Cole Seiler, playing alongside Yarrow in the back for Georgetown, has done a fantastic job this year. Yarrow gets a lot of the publicity, but Cole Seiler is a rock back there for the Hoyas.
First touch for Madison. He'll find Zinkin. Zinkin's dangerous at the end line. Good service, and Gomez scoops it up. Those kinds of low balls are going to be challenging for the goalkeepers today.
Yeah, Gomez did well his first touch. That ball had all sorts of difficulty on it. Could have skipped, but a clean save for Gomez. UVA in their first attack, getting to the end line here. Zinkin makes a nice move. Gomez good positionally, and then very clean on that.
And Rosansky, you could see lurking there at about the 6, had Tomas bobbled that. Rosenberry chesting down, bothered by Madison. Now Thompson for Virginia, looking to return it to Madison. He battles Yarrow, and Josh will win the first of what I imagine will be many one-on-one battles between those two players today. Now Georgetown countering. It was Goodman and now Turnley. Now Wheel and Goodman. 1 and 2 touch play from Georgetown.
And the Hoyas are also very patient, you'll notice. They try to go out the left side. There's nothing there, and then good attempt to a switch to Rosenberry up the right side. And that's what we talked about in the pregame, Dan. Can Virginia deal with the width play and defend the width play? Because Georgetown will swing the ball from side to side, get those outside backs overlapping, and it just puts all sorts of pressure on defenses.
Here's Wheel, an overlap from Martz to his right if he wants it. He will take that option. And now Austin swings it through Tyler Rudy. Side to side go the Hoyas. It's Josh Turnley, the junior, with it. Early ball straight across the box and cleared nicely by Sheldon Sullivan.
Georgetown having some success early in this game down the left side with Turnley.
There's the first touch of Arun Basulovic. Basulovic selected by the coaches as the Big East Freshman of the Year. Really came on in the second half of the season.
And added a scoring punch for the Hoyas to complement Allen up top. Scored several game winners this year, Basulovic did. It's part of a very highly touted recruiting class. We see Turnley whipping that ball in on the last possession. But Basulovic and teammate Chris Lemma, both from the Red Bull Academy, both highly touted freshmen for this Hoyas team.
Deft touch by Goodman. Now Wheel, and there is Basulovic. And Hoyas really using the entire width of Shaw Field. Here's Rosenberry at speed. Keegan's going to try to cut behind Thompson, and the sturdy left back collects it for Virginia and starts the counter to Madison. But Madison and Yarrow score another one for the Georgetown sophomore.
And Yarrow, just what he did last week, every time Syracuse was putting Georgetown under pressure, Yarrow cleaned up the mess. The first 2 chances today that Madison had, Yarrow wins them easily.
So Georgetown in this first 7 minutes of play, the better of the action, but Virginia and George Gelnova talked about it after the Notre Dame game. They are content to sit back in a game like today or a game like they had in South Bend against Notre Dame, try to keep it 0-0 for a long time and then look opportunistically for a goal in the second half.
Yeah, the Cavaliers were convinced that if they could keep the scoreline 0-0 last week up in South Bend, that they would find a way to win the game. And that's exactly what they did, knocking out the defending champions.
Senior Tyler Rudy now to Cole Seiler. Seiler, the Anderson, South Carolina product, now finds Turnley, who's seen a lot of the ball here early. Turnley against Kyler Sullivan. Ball a little too much on it, and Mart's not positioned at the back post, and so it'll be a throw-in for UVA.
But Josh Turnley is getting up and down the left flank early in this contest. That service wasn't his best, but UVA's got to pay attention to that because they're compact defensively, and it allows Turnley on the left and Rosenberry to have one-on-one matchups out on the flanks.
Vasulic now top of the box, tries to slip and wheel through.
UVA's got 9 guys top of the box defending there.
Todd Wharton, the defensive midfielder, did a good job to break up that attack. Now Rosansky against Yarrow. And a throw-in in front of the throng of Georgetown students enjoying the contest. A stray umbrella or two, but the weather pretty much a non-factor right now.
It's a beautiful day for soccer. It's low 50s, maybe high 40s out there, and if the rain holds off, it'll be a great day.
Wheel will turn near the half-field line. Now, first touch for Brandon Allen. It's a good one. He'll find Goodman, who turns. Goodman a pirouette, and ultimately the foul whistled by Chico Grajada, today's official.
And Todd Wharton just clipped Goodman. What a good turn from Bakey Goodman in the center of the park. Goodman is such a crafty player. Tried to keep his balance there. A good call. This is about the same distance that the Hoyas scored against Old Dominion, just on the other side of the field. Brandon Allen, who served that ball in, says, I like my chances, I'll serve it in again.
And Chico Grajada says, I have the white spray and I'm going to use it. So 10 yards marked off here in the 10th minute at Shaw Field. A berth in next weekend's College Cup on the line. Georgetown, several runners in the box, including Seiler up from his center back position. Allen wants to reset the runs. Clips a ball in, easily headed. Martz will try to pin the Cavaliers in. Now Goodman. Seiler, probably his most advanced touch of the season. Now he's going to have another shot at it. Seiler has space down the left side. Early ball! And it was Wheel at the near post.
What a ball by Cole Seiler, who moved up on the free kick and didn't run back right away. Found all sorts of space on the left side and played a good ball in, and that's the second time Wheel has gotten deep into the box for the Hoyas. And I would say both of those were A-level scoring chances from Wheel. Take a look at Seiler getting to the end line, and a good run by Wheel. We would like to do better with that one.
But again, promising soccer from the Hoyas here early. Vasulic slips but retains possession. Referee does not call a foul, and now the attack coming from Pablo Aguiar. Aguiar out to Madison. Early ball played in. Corriveau playing with it. UVA some action in the box. A left-footed shot! Saved by Gomez, and it was a world-class save by the left hand of Tomas Gomez.
Tomas Gomez coming up huge for the Hoyas. Looked like Rudy got fouled in the midfield where it started that counterattack for the Cavaliers. And UVA with some quick combination play in the box.
And the former U20 national team product showing why.
Quick little 1-2. Corvo lets one rip, and Gomez with probably the save of the season for him.
And then a foul whistled as Muil challenged Aguiar for that. So both teams with chances in a relatively free-flowing first 12 minutes.
Yeah, and you saw the skill of